I don't have a. It's on now. Here we go. This is gonna be real random. So I don't have a what's it called? The intro, the music intro. Yeah. This is my Minicast episode 4 with Joel here. He works at Nutrition Warehouse and is an aspiring myotherapist. We're going to discuss his overall fitness journey and goals. What about myotherapy he's very interested in, and supplements, a lot about supplements. So if you're interested in that, stick around. If you're not, stick around anyway. Alrighty, Joel.
Yo.
Do you want to say a few things just briefly about yourself, and then we'll get on with it?
Okay, hey audience, my name is Joel Barker. I initially found Michael through a post that he made on Facebook talking about supplements and whatnot. So as Michael explained, I work for Nutrition Warehouse. I was working in the Mornington store at the time, but now I'm at the Frankston, same but different. So anyway, and I struck up a friendship with Michael there. So a bit about my background. I've been a qualified myotherapist for about a year. I will be launching my own business from home and hopefully working alongside with Michael and his clients as well. Starting my own somewhat PT studio, probably not as cool as Mike's, but yeah.
This isn't cool, mate. It's just a bigger garage.
So I'll be starting that from home, but I guess the main focus is myotherapy. And I've just got this really strange passion for supplements. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from, but it ended up just eventuating into a job. And I guess the basis of that is that I like to help people out, even through supplementation and some nutrition advice. So yeah.
How good's that? Alrighty, I'm going to ask you. Let's talk about why did you start lifting? Like what about exercise? Like what was the first thing you did really exercise related?
Okay, so I was standard, young kid sports like basketball, footy, and I guess I was doing them because my mates done them. Got over that after a while, done a bit of tennis, but because it was around the teenage years, all I wanted to do was smoke cigarettes and skate and, drink, just stupid teenage crap. And apparently the one sport I was good at, but it wasn't until I hit around 17, 18 and I see my dad training downstairs in the gym.
Did a home gym?
Yeah, got a home gym.
That's weird. Was it? Tell us about it. I want to know about what was in there and.
Oh wait, where do I start? Okay, so you got your stock standard stuff that everyone's got at home. They knock around dumbbells and barbells and whatnot.
Let's see.
We got the old Chuck Norris endorsed Total Gym 1000.
Bullshit.
Which is actually the only good thing to come out of Danos Direct.
No. Sorry, Danos. No one is ever going to listen. That's funny as. Oh my god.
And it was just a basic setup.
That's good though. What else do you need?
Yeah, that's right.
That's it.
My old man actually took me through my first ever weightlifting session, and I'll never forget the pain I was in for the next week. But I guess that comes from my dad. I guess I come from a fitness background in a sense because my mum actually met my dad in a gym, believe it or not.
Really?
I think that's how it happened. It's kind of like, the Joker's got these different origin stories.
All right, we're going to have a comic book. Let's not talk about comic books, mate. We're going to be here for 2 hours. We're going to have a 2-hour epic.
So even though they met through other circumstances, my dad used to manage gyms. My mum was a water aerobics instructor. So it's kind of been I guess you could say it's somewhat in the bloodline, as cheesy as that sounds. But no, my dad got me into it and I stuck with it. Believe it or not, this is getting pretty D&M, but speaking with a psychologist, she found that the reason I like to lift weights is because it gave me confidence.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's not something that's it is D&M-ish, but it's a very general thing that people find.
There's always a deep-seated reason.
100%. And even during consults here, I will dig deep and I will find that why. Because if you don't have a why, what's the point? I say, you know what I mean? I was like, if you don't really put a reason to this, how long can you really stick to it? It's like, why would you do something you didn't really have a good reason to do?
That's right. So that is my deep-seated reason. Plus the fact you wouldn't notice it when you see me these days, but back in the day, I looked like a walking skeleton. So I could eat the house down and I wouldn't show anything for it. My metabolism's changed a lot more now because I'm 31 in the year, so it has slowed down a bit. Luckily, I'm getting more of my brother's metabolism now. But yeah, realistically, I was always that skinny guy and I never felt confident in myself. So lifting weights helped me achieve that.
Yeah, good. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Them gains, that's it. What was the first, so you said your dad trained you, what about the first few years of lifting the first few years of lifting, tell us about that, because it's always interesting to hear where people come from, and some of the biggest mistakes you make along the way.
Okay, so finishing high school, I was on and off with the gym for a few years. Here and there, I was doing some basic labouring jobs, so I was pretty physical in a sense. Then I started looking into just even a gym membership was a big step for me, just getting out, training around people that I didn't know.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it?
It is very. It can be very intimidating.
It is intimidating.
And I can see where the young kids come from, like when they're like, "Oh, I don't feel right," or they put on that whole bravado thing. I hope I didn't come across as that, but and then I started going from there, and then it just literally eventuated into doing my Cert 3 and 4 in fitness. So
where'd you do that?
Done it at Chisholm TAFE. That's when there was still those government, what are they called? The government subsidies?
I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, they don't do it.
Yeah, we're not going to get in a political discussion, but it is harder to further your education and pursue a passion now. And apparently they're going to, how much can we say? Government's going to shut this down. But how much can aren't they going to the uni, even the uni? What are they called? The subsidies for the uni or whatever.
Shit.
They're going to stop that too. Apparently.
No, it's not vet fee.
Nah, hex.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one pays it.
Yeah, so
apparently.
You can thank all the kids with the arts degrees for that. Shots fired.
Shots fired, boys.
Yeah. So we've done that back in the day, and that's when Australia was apparently going through this huge obesity epidemic, and I guess that's why they introduced the subsidies.
Yeah, which was, did that help?
Probably not.
No.
We all know.
I'd love to see a statistic actually.
We all know it was multifaceted. The obese epidemic.
Obesity. Yeah, my favorite word. Multifaceted and adherence are my favorite words. But obesity is very. I'm not going to touch on obesity for a long time. But just know that I think there's I've seen 80 to 100 different correlating factors that contribute to the development of obesity. I think it's wrong to say it causes obesity. There's so many things. Guess what we are doing, Joel and I, right now, is sitting down, relying on technology here. We've got a phone and a laptop and stuff.
So we're very hypocritical.
What's up?
We're very hypocritical.
We are. We're really contributing to our own obesity.
Mind you, we've just done a workout, so that helps.
Yeah, let's hope so. But at the end of the day, it is a very multifaceted issue, and what can I say? So it is like an energy balance equation, and we're not going to go too much into it. Some people get butthurt about that, but it's just facts. That's it.
Yeah. So I worked as a personal trainer for Good Life, and I won't get into the specifics on that. But if you see me in the street and you ask about it, I'll tell you what I honestly think. But
we're going to change you.
That's right.
That's it.
So it's in this world, the way it is, it's very hard for PTs to survive, and there's obviously ones that do very well for themselves, but there's a lot that don't.
Yeah.
So
it's good. It's the reals. It's the reals. Not even a word. It's the realist. It's the realism of this job.
Yeah, it's a very oversaturated industry.
Yeah.
We are living in an overpopulated world. And look, it's a very fun job, and we can all see the appeal. It is you help people, you get to talk shit with people, and it's just an overall fun job.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than being stuck in a job that you don't want to do. So I can still see the appeal and why people are still getting into it, but yeah, that's just another story.
No, it's so good that you brought that up, because there are so many people who finish personal training, and they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna open a factory, and I'm gonna do that." And I'm like, Jesus Christ! You just finished your cert and you want to do that? It's just
there's nothing wrong with confidence, but you need to be
realistic. But realism is what it's all about. I think if I could go back in time, I would do commercial gyms. I know it didn't work out.
That it could just be where I was at, or there's certain protocols.
Yeah, garage was good for me, of course.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And but at the same time, there's pros and cons. I didn't have the foot traffic, obviously. In a commercial gym, you walk out and there's all these leads and prospects. They're already there for you. Yeah. But a garage gym,
you're just gonna have to generate your own.
You got to do it all yourself. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
But at the same time, you have piss all overheads.
Yeah. So you would have seen it now in the industry as well, that everyone's going online now. Everyone wants to be a
online. I think
virtual coach and whatnot.
I don't think that's bad. I think you got to really do it. You got to know your shit. You can't just give people. And then there's all the legalities of it. You need.
Oh yeah.
If someone injures themselves and you're not there, but they're doing your program and your, all your stuff, they can get you for it, unfortunately, because we live in that world.
There is a lot of liabilities that people don't, foresee.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't even remember the original question. I think we waffled on.
No, it's good. Waffling is good. We are.
We're all about the bands.
That's it. You just got to keep it going. I will move us on.
Right.
What are some of the best exercises you have done and why? Whether it be for movement, performance, and really important things like how big you are and strength.
Okay, so I guess for me, I'm that standard, I wouldn't say I'm a lift bro, but I do like to stick to my hypertrophy. So
I'm a lift bro.
Yeah. So I'm just your standard sort of like high volume. I love my high volume triple drop set, superset, giant set sort of training. For me personally though, like I've got my own trainer now. Shouts out to Cam Elliott from Virtus. So I reckon everyone needs their own trainer.
I need my own trainer.
Yeah, everyone needs. Doesn't matter how smart you are or how motivated you are, you'll never get that same sort of edge without a personal trainer. So, yeah, so I'm working on just some basic breathing and mobility. I know mobility is a bit of a buzzword as well as functional.
But they're useful tools to implement, and Cam is a fantastic trainer, and he knows what's up.
Yeah, so he's helping me with that at the moment. So it's something different. I needed to get out of the whole hypertrophy world, and I don't see myself doing like getting on stage because I've got no adherence to eating properly. I like to eat crap.
Just get jacked, man. Like, eat as much as you can, dig. No, we're not condoning overeating.
I think eventually I want to get into like a powerlifting because there's one thing about me that I'm still insecure about, and it is my strength. So people look at me and they say, oh, you'd be able to lift X amount, and they're shocked to find I can only lift half that amount. So it's something I'm definitely looking into, and something I guess to, look forward to start doing something competitive and having fun with it. So but then there's the whole myotherapy thing. So got to get that up and running soon, very soon.
Tell us about that. You know what? Can you read my notes? You can't.
I just segued, didn't I?
You did. You segued. How did you do that? All right, myotherapy. What interested you about it from the get-go? Because you sort of touched on that a little bit, but let's talk about, because it's always good, again, underlying principles. Why did you do it? It's always very interesting.
Yeah. So this story isn't as cool, but when I was doing personal training at Good Life, I said, well, this isn't enough. I'm going to need to do something else, but I still like to help people. So what can I do? Looked into some nutrition courses, and I'm like, oh, this looks fantastic. I want to do this. And then I jumped on oldseek.com.au to see what the demand was.
Get around it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty useful.
And there was absolutely nothing. And and I couldn't see myself doing a Bachelor of Dietetics. So I'm like, all right, so I'm just going to try massage and see how I go. And I'd always liked the fact that, if you can break through dodgy biomechanics or pain barriers or for whatever reason, something restricting you from achieving what you want, then it's still interesting. And once I got into it, I found that I'd somewhat had a knack for it. So I couldn't never use my hands as a tradie. I tried many different apprenticeships. Couldn't swing a hammer to save my life, but for some reason, I'm still useless. I'll tell you what, the missus helps me put together the friggin' flat packs and stuff. Yeah.
The benches, I'm like, help.
You probably hear from her like, oh, what sort of a man are you? Like, oh, I'm a different one.
I lift things up and put them down.
Yeah,
very gross motor skills, none of this fun shit. This IKEA shit, putting shit together.
Yeah, so that was the one thing I can do right with my hands is massage therapy, myotherapy. So I've done my Cert 4 in relaxation massage, diploma in remedial, and then I finished up at the old RMIT in the city for myotherapy. So myotherapy is getting a lot more notoriety now. For anyone that's listening that doesn't know what it is, you think of it as a very, full-on version of remedial massage. So a very, I can't even explain it.
You're the expert here. So ask me what myotherapy is.
I've got that post-workout brain, so
I like to think it bridges the gap.
Very advanced, yeah.
I like to think it bridges the gap from
remedial to...
Yeah.
So think of, so myo meaning muscle. So we're obviously using soft tissue, or we're using techniques to manipulate soft tissue. Corrective exercises is a component similar to what personal trainers do. Orthopedic testing, which is what osteos use, so what, quote, functional testing. And then we're also licensed to use needling, so dry needling. It is
Oh,
different.
you are?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
It's different to acupuncture. But
Yeah,
they
very
use the
different.
same needles, yeah. And then we can use,
Won't talk about
we're
it.
licensed to use myofascial cupping as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on cupping, just quickly?
Okay. So there's evidence for and against. I'm more of a fan of dynamic cupping. So when everyone saw Michael Phelps jump out of the pool and look like he'd been attacked by an octopus.
Looks like Doc Ock, like Spider-Man. Looks like he's got like invented tentacles out of that.
So that is static cupping. I don't like the fact that it looks like, all the capillaries are broken
It's
anyway.
like a bunch of hickeys.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So dynamic cupping is moving the cup. So, you're moving the layers of fascia, and fascia is that connective tissue around the muscle. And more trainers are now talking about fascia and its relationship. We got myofascial trains, oblique slings, and going on from there. But that's another story. So
Yeah, that is another story, isn't
so
it?
myotherapy is, as I said, it's getting a lot more notoriety. People are confining in myos now to get them past their chronic pain. And
I like it. I think what I was trying to say is it's like sorry to interrupt before I forget. It's like before the physio. Would you say that? Sort of.
Yes and no. So as myotherapists, we're the same as osteopaths and chiropractors where we can't diagnose.
Yep.
That's definitely out of our scope. So that is a big liability to diagnose.
Yeah,
So
it's good that you said that.
We may think it is...
Same with personal training. Like I think personal trainers these days, everyone's like, but personal trainers are very notorious for stepping outside their scope. And I'm like, my ideologies on it are, if we do something and in conjunction with an allied health professional's opinion, preferably a physio.
That's right.
If it did something,
Yeah.
I will go to my physio, osteo, whatever, and I'll say, this is what we did. What do you think? Even if I have a belief about how it works,
Yes.
I'll ask them,
Correct,
and then we'll go from there. Because personal training I believe a personal trainer is an exercise prescription expert, where it should be my job to understand how to systemize a program for this person, and I should have a very wide knowledge of an exercise library that we can use, again, tools in the toolbox to help this person achieve whatever outcome they're looking for.
Correct.
It's not I'm going to correct this and diagnose that and fix this dysfunction and whatever. I don't delve into that
And
stuff.
that's a very, very intelligent way to put it, because once you start saying those things, it can come back and literally bite you in the ass.
And you can nocebo someone into believing that they actually are stuffed up.
Yeah, the old placebo,
No,
nocebo.
yeah, you got to be real careful. I want people to think that they are robust and just strong. I don't want people to think, and that's my job, get people strong and jacked or whatever they want to do, athletic performance. But I'm not out here to be like, oh my God, we've got to fix whatever this dysfunction is with reference to whatever variable, and then we go from there. I don't do that. It's not me. But a lot of personal trainers do that, and there's a very famous one on YouTube right now, which we're not going to name.
Okay. We'll talk about it after.
Yeah, I'll tell you after.
Yeah, that's too easy. So that was it. What was the original? I can't even remember the bloody question.
You actually answered a bunch of stuff all at once.
Ah, done.
There you go.
That's what I do.
Because you wanted to do it because you just wanted to help people in a different way. You couldn't do dietetics.
And it does
Well, not that
does
you couldn't
work.
do it, it's hard.
Yeah, it does work. Myotherapy does work hand in hand, just like physio would, or
Yeah.
So
Exploring
anything like
that. Yeah.
This day and age, you do need more. So there are a lot of people doing the Bachelor of Health.
That's my
Science
next
now.
question.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
mean, what
Will
is
you
right?
take your education further? Question mark.
Ah, there you go.
Are you about to answer that?
Okay, so I was considering the Bachelor of Myotherapy.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned before, the government backing out of helping.
Yeah, like I
people
was going to do a master's.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do it now.
Nah. So probably just sticking with personal development courses, because I'll be doing both myotherapy and personal training. You'll never know everything anyway. So, but if I'm picking the best of both worlds, it's gonna just complement it and
there's so many
eventually help people
There's
out.
so many complementary resources out there. Like, isn't there? Like, really, there's just so much online that you can look up and just I'm like, it's just actually incredible how much stuff's out there for nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So one of my peers has linked me to some free courses that I'll be doing, just some basic, via correspondence PD courses. But
That's good though. That's great.
Yeah, so we'll see what's going to happen with the education system soon.
How much of a shame is that?
It is, yeah.
That is such a shame.
Because I can understand, look, it is a bit of a burden on the
Yeah.
on the economy, but
There's a lot of things that could be cut too. Like, you're going to cut the future of our education. That's
yeah, so that's just another story in itself. But who knows where we're going to go? But yeah, so for my personal knowledge and information, I'll just be doing a bunch of short courses, and I guess you'll be doing the same because
That's what I do. Like,
you done the what is it?
I don't know. I've done it. Like,
what was the last one you done?
Well, with Virgil,
Eric Helms.
Oh yeah, so JPS. Oh, I love JPS. Now I'm a big fan. I'm like a full fanboy. But I went there. They're in Airport West, and they hosted a 3D MJ seminar for 2 days, which was fantastic. I got to meet the 3D MJ team, which was a big deal for me. That's like part of the reason I got into personal training. But in terms of furthering my education, I actually like buying DVDs and all that stuff. Or not digital downloads is better. DVDs is like so 90s, bro. But that's how I like to do it. I can comfortably sit in my gym or my home and just study like that. Unfortunately, when you have a gym, you just can't make it to all these different seminars.
That's right. The time restrictions.
Yeah, what can you do? But as long as you're actively trying to further your education, whether it be short courses, university degrees or whatever, like, you are bettering not only yourself, but the industry standard as a whole, which is what's really important. Because I think that we're all on the same team in terms of this. I think
Correct.
we're all trying to improve the fitness and health industry by being better professionals.
That's right.
That's how I see it.
And it
anyway.
makes, as cheesy as it sounds, it
is cheesy,
it gives us lots of purpose, because
Yeah.
in this world you only feel they'll never beat any sort of feeling where you're helping people and the smile on their face and the positive feedback, and that makes everything worthwhile.
Yeah, like it does. There's an episode that I actually filmed I've filmed or recorded. I'm not going to release, but it's about how hard it was to actually open this joint. It was terrible.
Yeah.
I can't believe all the crap I had to go through to do it. Yeah. But when I trained people, I was like, all right, this is why I'm doing it. I went to Rosebud Secondary College, my old high school, and I did a talk to their vet, sport and rec kids about just personal training and exercise prescription and stuff like that. And when they were learning, it was very satisfying for me, and I was like, okay, this is why I'm doing it again. Don't get bogged down by all the...
dig deep down and find that reason.
Yeah, that's exactly. Again, that's a very good theme of the episode, isn't it? Reasons. Do you have like people I go to Eric Helms, Lane Norton, Alan Aragon, Brad Schoenfeld. There's 4 I can name. I could list them forever who I look to for good information. Do you have that in the Myo world?
Yes, we do. So certain people like Leon Chatau, who's famous for, I think it's Anatomy Trains the Book. Tom Myers. There are definitely people within that realm. It's at the end of the day, it's not as flashy and as cool as trainers because a lot of them
trainers are so flashy.
Don't have their 6-packs and whatnot. But there's some I guess in a sense, there's some very, very intelligent people out there, and I do follow.
You got to really look like you do have to look. Like, these are not popular guys. Those 4 guys I just mentioned, they're getting up there, but they don't have the 9.5 million followers.
Yeah, they don't have the social media presence like a lot of those YouTube fitness.
Yeah, like no way.
Have. Yeah,
no way.
Like I've kind of followed the same people as you. Like
which is a shame that they don't.
Yeah. So, but there are definitely people in the myotherapy world. A lot of Australian therapists are killing it at the moment. Lucky enough to be taught by one of the guys that's going to be behind the old, bloody hell, I can't even remember the book now, I've gone blank. I can't bloody remember. Anyway, so...
There's a book, it's coming out, some bloke wrote it, tip top.
Yeah, but I guess...
Obviously it's important.
I guess it only appeals if you're in the industry.
It's like that too, like I'm like, do you know who this person is? And everyone's like,
yeah.
What? Like, but yeah, that's the way it is.
Well, the Eric Helms book, the training pyramid.
Isn't that good?
Book,
the muscle and strength pyramid, the nutrition pyramids. Like, Eric will never listen to this.
Yeah. Shout outs to Eric.
Yeah, boys. But those books are fantastic. Like, I think that even at a tertiary level, especially to simplify some things, you know what I mean? Like, how in depth do you really need to go in exercise programming?
And it's just, he simplifies how to apply that to real
life. Oh man, those books are, buy those books, guys. Those books are the shit. Or you can just go online and watch, like, he's got like a series on it for nothing. Again, a great source of free information out there.
Yep.
In order for you to like better your programming and just an understanding of all things acute exercise variables. All right. Do you want to touch on anything else about Myo? Is there anything that comes to mind? What about the people that want to start the course? What are you going to... Oh, you sort of already touched on that.
Some tips? Okay.
Yeah.
So, obviously, as a prerequisite, you do have to do your diploma of remedial.
Oh, so you actually... Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long course then.
So, there are some opportunities. Southern School of Natural Therapies, they do offer the Cert 4 all the way to the Bachelor of Myotherapy. So, if you are considering... That is a very good institution. I didn't know about them before I started my myotherapy degree. So, yeah, otherwise I might have gone with them. But, you know, not to say RMIT is no good because they were fantastic. Some of the leaders in the industry.
But it's always good to look, like there's nothing bad about saying that. It's always good to look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I went to Deakin, I love Deakin.
Yeah,
but
there you go.
if you want to go to another uni, like...
look at the reputation Deakin has.
For sports science, apparently it's really good.
That's one of the top in the world.
Yeah, apparently that's what I've heard. That's not why I went there. I was like,
yeah.
I had the ATAR, and I was like, oh, that's the one I'm going to.
But all in all, it is, look, it's not an easy course by all means, but...
No, definitely not.
Look, you look at 4 to 5 years for physiotherapy, and yeah, people still will go to physios at the end of the day, and their knowledge is incredible.
Yes.
Anatomy, physiology, in biology. But if you, for whatever reason, if you don't want to go down the physiotherapy route and you want to get more hands-on, myotherapy is definitely the way to go, and it's definitely on the up and up. So check out Southern School of Natural Therapies, and their course is apparently fantastic. So a lot of my peers teach there, and yeah, they do have strong affiliates. I should be getting some sort of money just recommending it.
See, we recommended Eric Helms' books.
Where's that cut?
No way. No, I would never. All those blokes put so much out stuff for free. Like, no way.
But I would recommend myotherapy if you are a personal trainer. So I think it complements it fantastically.
Yeah, because you were showing me some real good stuff.
Yeah, so the basic screening, there's some PD courses that I definitely want to do coming up soon, just to screen, your PT clients.
I like it.
Find certain things that you just can't find through your basic PT screening.
Yeah, I'm very hit and miss with screenings. Sometimes I learn them and I'm like, oh, it's really helpful. And then I'll do it and I'm like...
It didn't work.
Not that it didn't work, but it was like, did I really have to do that?
Was it necessary?
Was it necessary? I think that people need to be screened for the basic movement patterns that I'm going to do with them.
Yeah.
So like, pushing, pulling, hinging, squatting, some sort of exercise that challenges the core. And when I say core, I just mean like this person's ability to prevent movement at the trunk whilst the extremities are in motion. When I say that, it's very... My God, it depends who you talk to, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, that was the wrong definition." Everyone just cracks the shits, and it's like, how many definitions are there for what we're talking about? You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
So it is just. I'll just give you a basic sort of overlook, but we'll move on. Otherwise, that's just waffles. Too many waffles. I'm a pancake guy myself.
This dude.
Yeah. Get around it. What are your go-to supplements and why?
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Supplement
territory. All right.
We should have done this at the start. We wouldn't have had so many people drop this podcast.
Okay, so the supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It isn't.
Do you get a big cut of that?
What's that?
Do you get a big cut of that?
Oh, huge.
Yeah, of course. You came in your Lamborghini.
Yeah. No, it's not pharmaceuticals.
Holy fuck.
But the industry isn't very regulated, but more and more people are combining in supplements now, and that's why it's just a juggernaut. There's companies popping up every single week. So basic supplements that you should be utilizing, protein powder. Protein powder has a 100% bioavailability, which means your body's going to utilize it all. And it does get in the bloodstream a lot quicker. Not to say that the anabolic window still holds merit in, the fitness world, but...
Are you sure? I have my shake 20 seconds after my workout. And apparently they've shortened the anabolic window to like 12 and a half seconds. So should I just go do some curls or something?
That's cynicism.
To get around it.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to that. Look, you're still insulin sensitive and glycogen depleted post-workout anyway for a long period of time. Your metabolic rate's up. But anyway, back to subs. So Protein powder. Now, if you are looking at increasing size and strength, we've all heard of creatine. Creatine is what you call an intracellular osmolyte, so it draws fluid into the cell, making the cell bigger and more permeable for amino acids to enter. It also fuels your ATP system, not the brand, but the energy system. So the 0 to 10 energy system, to lift weights or for explosive
The important
movements.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the
No,
thing.
I'm joking.
Now, here's the important thing. So a lot of people will invest in creatine to build size, or more so strength. But if you can get adequate amounts of magnesium does fuel your adenosine triphosphate system. So you don't necessarily need creatine as a supplement to increase strength.
Okay.
So yeah, I just want to brush up on that one.
That's cool.
Okay, so protein, creatine. So there your lift bro stereotypical sort of supplements.
The important.
Yeah.
Before we move on,
Yep.
a lot of questions I get are, do you recommend an isolate or a concentrate? And I have what I tell people. Well, what do you tell people?
Okay. So look, isolate, at the end of the day, isolate's the fast absorbing, and well, you got the hydrolysate, which is the fastest, but
Hydrolyzed or whatever
there's
it
not
is.
enough evidence to suggest that hydrolysate is superior to isolate.
But they charge like 1.5 times the price.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of marketing there.
Yes.
WPC, or whey protein concentrate, we call it the medium digesting, but look, you can get in the system still relatively quick. They do have their different health properties as well, I believe. So
Okay.
isolate means it's isolated from the fat and the lactose, so if you do have any lactose issues, you can utilize that. The milk protein structure is still the same.
Yep.
So it's definitely not for those that are intolerant. But then, yeah, WPI, WPC, and then everyone knows the old casein, the old slow digesting.
The old right before bed, or else you'll die when you wake up.
Pretty much.
Because that's what happens when you wake up. You go back to
Yeah,
sleep.
exactly.
That's what you.
But yeah, there's some decent studies on casein as well, but it's not really necessary as long as your diet's very improved.
At the end of the day, would you say if you had, if your total protein intake is sufficient, like.
Here's the kicker. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so this is the thing. If you can get the right amount of food in and time it correctly, you don't necessarily need protein shakes. Another reason we do sell them though, and they are popular and people still utilize them, is because it's quick and it's convenient.
Yeah. That's exactly. I use a protein supplement because I work at the gym. There is no friggin' I can't grill a steak. I'm just gonna whip out like the Weber boys and start cooking, So it's just it's right. It's a supplement. It's supplemental. But I do have my contentions about that. Per gram, when I calculated it, per gram of protein, a whey protein supplement is 1.7 to even up to 2 times cheaper per gram of protein than a steak, especially at the moment. But per gram of protein, not per actual gram. Per gram of protein when equated
Of aminos, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So realistically, that's another thing. So you got to think of protein powder as a pre-digested food. So that's another way to look at it. And look, you don't have to smash 8 shakes a day. That's just silly. You can keep to the 1 to 2 a day.
You can have 9.
You could, but you really wouldn't, unless, for whatever reason you didn't like meat, or, a lot of vegetarians will confine in that, and now veganism is it's a big thing. And speaking of that, both my brothers are actually vegan now, so.
And this is stuff that if you're in to the athletic stuff, protein is a very important nutrient.
Exactly.
Like,
so you got essential and non-essential amino acids.
Yeah.
So they all have their own role in the body. You got glycine, you got tryptophan, you've got leucine, all those sort of amino acids, but they do play that general role in cell development. If you're not getting sufficient amounts, your body's not going to be performing as it should be at an optimal level.
I like it.
So so I guess you do and you don't need protein powder. Yeah, it does give you an advantage, but you won't die.
You do what you do. Yeah, you don't need is a very you don't really need anything. You know what I mean?
Technically, yeah.
Technically, you want to get real technical, but it is a supplement that will help you reach whatever outcome you are looking for.
At the end of the day, if you've got goals in mind, you've literally got to hit it from every angle. So, as I mentioned before, I've got my own trainer to further my knowledge and my results. Diet adherence as well with what you're obviously teaching your clients. It's a big deal. because if they're not hitting that, they're just going to struggle to get their goals, and they'll get to their goals eventually, but it'll just take a lot longer.
Yeah, and adherence predicts success, and it's something I always say.
Life's short, so you got to get there
That's it.
as quickly as you can.
I'm having a midlife crisis now. I'm 23. 46, I'm out, man.
Sure, Mike. I'm almost 31, mate. I've still got a few years on you.
All right, so we've got creatine, protein, like whey or whatever whey.
Yeah.
What else would you say?
Okay, so for those...
Magnesium, you said a little bit.
Yeah, so just to brush up a bit on protein powder again. Look, there's new protein powders coming out. So there's one, shout outs to ATP for their hydrolyzed collagen peptide protein. So collagen being one of the most abundant tissues in the body, hair, skin, nails, ligaments, tendons, all that connective tissue. There's a company that have manufactured one that is obviously from animal parts because it's collagen based, unless they get it from humans, which I would be pretty scared of. But
that's awesome. Get around
but
it.
You don't necessarily.
That's a real protein.
Yeah, and people love that. There's the vegan proteins now are getting really popular. More specifically, there's a brand called Prana. That's an Australian brand, very good. But yeah, there's different variations of protein powder, so you don't necessarily have to go the stock standard.
All these
dairy.
brands are new to me. Like I wouldn't like. I stick to
and there's always new stuff coming out, and it's literally.
It's branding.
I feel like I need to be a biochemist sometimes just to learn all the things. But yeah, so okay, straying away from protein powder. Now here's something that I know. I've got a feeling this is one of your burning questions. It's BCAAs.
It's not, but let's touch it.
Okay. Okay, so, and it's funny that I bring this up because I actually thought you did need them, and it wasn't until I private messaged Michael and I said, "Oh, you taking your BCAAs?" And he's like, "What do you mean you don't need them?" I hit up one of my peers and I'm like, "Is that true?" And he goes, "Yeah, well, technically you don't." So now I'm actually...
Yeah, again, need is a...
Yeah, so branched-chain amino acids, there's the three, leucine, isoleucine, and valine, responsible for stopping muscles from breaking down. But now... Oh, sorry, someone just walked through the door, threw me out. Yeah, so branched-chain amino acids, you don't need to... Basically, for anyone listening, you don't have to drink that multicolored stuff that you see people drinking at the gym to get your results. Yeah,
doesn't it? I like it as like a... I'll tell you what, I like it. Like, why the reason I would have it is because people tend to drink more water when it tastes good.
It does, and that's funny.
And
at the end of the day, like, I'd try and talk people out of BCAAs and getting onto a supplement that's going to be very hard to get.
But they're not going to drink that water.
Food.
They're not going to drink it.
Nah. And at the end of the day, I'll say, look, do you like the taste? You just don't like drinking water? And they say, yeah. I'm like, okay, get some BCAAs in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that's why I was going to go get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's a very expensive water enhancer, but at least... Because you can buy those, what are those water enhancers you would have them at... Do you have them?
Water enhancer?
They're like a cordial but sugar-free.
No.
Yeah?
No, I've never heard of them.
Oh, I don't know.
I thought you might have been talking about alkaline water, but that's another kettle of fish.
No.
Okay, so SUPs. Okay, so we talked about protein, creatine, a bit about BCAAs. Pre-workout. So here is the thing about pre-workout. Now, everyone's had these pre-workouts that have basically almost blown the top of their heads off. Yeah.
Before we continue?
Okay, go.
What's the best pre-workout? Like, what's the one that's just made you like, wow? Wig out and just
Basically the ones that have been banned in the last week. So technically, from a molecular structure or chemical structure, it's literally very similar to methamphetamine. So
true.
I'm not going to name him, but one of my best mates was actually drug tested because he works for I think it was Blue Scope or BHP, I can't remember, but he operates machines.
Yeah, and obviously you can't do it out of your mind.
They get random drug testing. So he tested positive to methamphetamine, and they had 2 days off work paid, luckily, until they could decipher where that was coming from, and it was his pre-workout. And
That's incredible.
So that as soon as I learnt that, I made sure that everyone that came in to buy that particular product or that product, that contained something called DMHA, that they weren't getting drug tested.
Wasn't that the DMAA, not replacement?
Pretty much.
But it was...
We call it the little sister.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was that.
So not as strong.
So that's banned too now.
So for anyone that's listening to this, remember 2012, there was these workouts called, pre-workouts called Mesomorph. Jacked.
See, I had the original Jacked. We were discussing this.
So there's still people talking about it to this day.
Mate.
It's legendary. But
that Jacked, I'll tell you what, that was Jacked by name, Jacked by nature. Like that freaking pre-workout. I remember me and my friend Brendan, BJ, who One day he will appear on the show. This show, geez, who am I? But like, I remember having it, and I was an avid coffee drinker because I'm Italian, and I came out of the womb with an espresso, so I have always drank coffee.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm habitual to that stuff. It doesn't affect me.
No.
But jacked, mate. I can't even describe how I felt.
Yeah.
I put my deadlift like 30 kilos in like a session. No, swear to God.
So, and I saw the appeal because you did get a certain high from it. So people were enjoying that high, and personally, it started to affect my life with the old mesomorph. I was doing some labouring at the time, and it was chewing into my sleep and into my eating. It made me chronically anxious.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Full on. I used to have to lie. I told you this. I used to have to lie on the ground, on the cold ground, because my body was so hot, right? And just sort of like calm down. It was like
focus on your parasympathetic breathing.
You couldn't get parasympathetic, mate. There was no such thing. After you took that, it was just like you're wired. You're just so wide. I'm a very wide person. So
for anyone that's listening to this that hasn't taken pre-workout before, once you have these, it's a lot more than a cup of coffee, and it's just mind-boggling how it's legal. Basically, you're like, how is this stuff legal? Yeah,
true.
And that goes into the whole discussion about how the supplement industry isn't regulated enough.
Because you can get stuff from overseas.
That's right.
And it's crap.
That's exactly right. So there isn't enough regulation, but yet they are naturally derived, which is why you can sell them over the counter without a prescription, not like a pharmaceutical or anything like that.
Do you think they should introduce something like that?
Oh, so here's the other thing. They're looking at more regulation. So back to the pre-workouts that were banned a week ago. So the TGA, or the Therapeutic Goods of Administration Australia, they are the ones that regulate it. So they're the government or industry body that regulate all these sort of products and whatnot. So apparently, according to sources that I can't say, they're
Joel's sources.
Yeah. It's not what you know too. You know.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so it's coming down to, it's going to get to the point where it will just be back to caffeine again. They need more long-term studies on these stimulants.
I was going to say, from what I've seen in the research, there are obviously beneficial pre-workouts or pre-workout ingredients. I don't know the brands and stuff, but there are beneficial pre-workout ingredients out there. I have my go-to ones I recommend clients if they do want to take pre-workouts. But caffeine is the one that comes back with the most
evidence.
Yeah. It's got the most robust evidence.
And people don't realize this, but there's other facets to pre-workout apart from the energy. So we get a lot of people coming in, more so the girls and the guys, and they go for the pre-workout.
Girls come in more than blokes.
Oh well, this is just for this example.
Okay.
We get a real mix of people from where I work, but the girls will go for the pre-workout and we'll do the right thing. What's their goals? And they say, I'm trying to lose weight. Well, you're better off using a fat burner as a pre-workout. And look, fat burners, there's too many different
variables are going to come into play.
A lot of variables. So, and that's a whole nother situation.
We'll touch on it a little bit.
But yeah, the fat burners and the pre-workouts, the only similarity is the stimulant base, and they'll do two different things. So yeah, you could utilize that. But going back to pre-workouts, there's other factors. So you've got amino acids that increase vasodilation or nitric oxide production. So when you hear about people talking about the pump, like Arnie,
I was going to say, tell us about that, because some people like vaso what? So
vasodilation. So basically, it encourages more blood into the muscle. You get better muscle breakdown, nutrient delivery because the nutrients in the blood. The oxygen is also in the blood, so more oxygen into the muscle. Washing of metabolic waste like lactic acid, hydrogen ions, all that sort of stuff. So you do perform better, and not to mention that the pump looks and feels amazing.
And what does Arnie say about the pump?
It's basically like coming,
What the fuck?
But now they're saying that there is science to say that the pump does increase more lean mass as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of people out there was saying like the pump is useless, it means nothing. Yeah. But that metabolite accumulation is a factor contributing to the development of hypertrophy. Like, they're important components of hypertrophy. 3 factors, Brad Schoenfeld talked about it. He's got a really good research paper on it. It actually has multiple research papers looking deep into each factor, which is mechanical tension, metabolic stress, and muscle damage, right? But part of that is the pump.
That's
that
right.
metabolite accumulation.
Yeah, and look, you don't necessarily need supplements to create a pump. You just need time under tension. But until you have that 10 grams of citrulline malate or whatever vasodilator that you prefer in a pure version, you're like, this has really increased my lifts, increased my strength, increased my size. So yes, it is, I guess, relative to supplement regime. But yeah, now there's a lot more. There's always been non-stim pre-workouts.
Yes.
So they're getting more and more
Thoughts
popular
on
now.
them? What do you reckon?
Yeah, so they're one of my favorite supplements, especially for those that train late at night. There's a lot of these non-stim pre-workouts that contain something called nootropics. So nootropics increase acetylcholine in the brain. So basically you get focus without it doing anything to your adrenals. So you get the attention that you would get from caffeine without the energy. So you get that beautiful tunnel vision, you know, when it's just, you feel like it's just you in the gym.
Yes.
So there's a lot.
See, that would be something that I could probably have an effect off because I have 1 million milligrams of caffeine a day. So
So you've definitely adapted to that psychoactive stimulant. But yeah, there are other facets to pre-workout and you don't, and look, you can take all the information with a grain of salt. It is kind of anecdotal, but once you actually try it and you feel and see the difference, that's when you're like, okay, this is either good or it's not worth my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. No, good. That's what you want. And critical thinking, grain of salt, that's what we're really trying to push as well.
That's it.
So you've answered everything, you bugger. No, have you? Let's have a look. What are some commonly consumed / purchased supplements that are not as great as the claims suggest?
We're getting controversial now. Okay.
Are we? Yeah, look,
Yeah,
you know.
so to a degree. Okay, so now fat burners are a huge part of the market. So basically, fat burners, to a degree, they only work if you're in a calorie deficit. So
Thank you. Far out. There you go.
So you could take every fat burner under the sun, but if you're 500 calories over from eating, you know, those sweets late at night, that fat burner isn't going to do anything. Look, it might give you energy if it's got a stimulant base.
Yeah.
But there's even a lot of fat burners out there now that are non-stimulant.
So unless you're in a calorie deficit, you're pretty much just
pissing your money away.
Yeah, thank you. So and like we said at the start, like weight gain / weight loss is really a product of the energy balance equation. Consuming more energy than you need means you will gain weight, and consuming less energy than you need means you will lose weight.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, there are obviously other metabolic processes that go on within the energy balance equation, but at the end of the day, when looking at systematic reviews and meta-analysis, which is like the gold standard for evidence, we know that the energy balance equation is what will govern weight gain and loss.
That's right. And then it goes into that whole aspect of not all calories are created equal. Calories, you've got your 4 calories per
We're going to talk
gram. about,
so you got protein's 4
macros,
calories per gram, carbs is 4, and fat's 9. I think protein and carbs actually a bit different. If you really want to be an asshole about it, 37 kilojoules for protein per gram, and then 36 kilojoules for carbs.
I'm not really up to date on my
I
kilojoules.
totally forgot, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
We'll look it up.
Okay, so those, I guess, fat burners in that category, they are the most overused, I guess, supplement out there. People will go straight for the fat burners before they look into what they should be looking into: protein powder, fish oil, all those, and magnesium.
And a calorie deficit.
Exactly. So they're kind of useless unless you're hitting all your targets from your diet and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I guess, and the other ones being BCAAs, I did brush up on that before. If you're getting sufficient amount of branched chain amino acids through your foods and your protein shakes, it's basically irrelevant. It's tasty
These
water.
things are like these things are like your insurance. That's the way I like to think about it.
Safety net.
You know what I mean? It's like, exactly right. Like, I'm a bit of a bro, and I have a little bit more protein than recommended. Not because I think that there is something magical about having more protein, because there really isn't, and in research we know that. But it is a safety net, and I just tend to like more protein. It's just a preference thing. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah.
And I actually tell, especially females, to consume a bit more protein, because females just struggle to consume protein to begin with. So if I tell them to actually consume a bit more, they will probably hit the protein that I want them to
Overshooting
hit.
to hit the target.
And that tends to happen, you know?
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you tell people to go stretch for half an hour, they'll stretch for 15 minutes. But if you said stretch for 15 minutes, they won't do it at all.
It is a bit like, my clients probably listen to this and be like, that motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm guilty as charged.
Yeah, well, you got to do that, you know?
Yeah. There's, and to a degree, and you will hear a lot of trainers talking about all supplements are crap, and to a degree they are right, but they're also incorrect. So
again, we don't like to talk in absolutes. We're Jedi.
That's right.
You know, Obi-Wan said that we don't talk in absolutes.
But yeah, it's funny because there's a lot of those trainers saying they don't recommend supplements, but they're taking them behind closed doors because they'll come in, buy some stuff.
It's like, isn't that funny?
It's so funny. Yeah.
They pretend like it's like illegal, like these people have smuggled drugs, and it's like, mate, you bought a powder from a store in Main Street. Like, it's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
That's right. So at the end of the day, supplements aren't the be all and end all, but just like every piece of the puzzle, it can be relevant.
That's right. You know, that's a really good way to put it, actually.
Yeah.
All right, we have about 9 minutes before, you know, I'll wrap it up. We're going to talk about Rick and Morty and your favourite episode, and we'll go from there.
How good? Oh, that completely caught me off guard.
2 years, we got to wait for that now.
Oh, no. So for those that are listening that haven't seen Rick and Morty before, it's got
Turn it off right now if you haven't seen Rick and Morty before.
Yeah, just go look it up. So it's loosely based off Doc and Marty from
Very
Back
loosely.
to the Future. Very loosely, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's basically MA15 animated series where Rick, who would be Doc, I guess, is an alcoholic who's got some existential crisis-based problems. But he's the smartest being in the universe. He just doesn't care about anything and anyone. And Morty is his grandson, who is he's
a bit shy, introverted. He's developing. You know what I really like about the show?
He's the epitome of chronic anxiety, basically.
He actually is. But what I really like about the show is that they don't insult the audience by telling a new story every single time. Yeah. The stories continue on. Yeah. From the last one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is that continual sort of storytelling.
Great.
But yeah, I guess any nerds out there will love Rick and Morty, but there's you got your quote normies that like to watch it as well.
Normies.
Yeah, I know the geeky world like to use that term, but
I understand that.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny because you look at all these explanations for each episode from the creators, and there's all these really dark, intelligent undertones, and
it's good,
you're like, whoa, and it makes you question things. And but from the humor side, it is hilarious.
Isn't it good? It's so funny.
It's hilarious.
It's a very intelligent show.
Yeah.
It is so smart. It's very well thought out. You know, it's sort of like everyone thinks South Park is like stupid humor, but South Park's actually really, they push the boundaries.
The old South Park was really...
I haven't seen much of the new stuff, to be honest.
The old South Park was, all the fart jokes and whatnot.
Do you know what I'm pumped for? The Fractured Butthole game. Have you seen that? That's the title.
And it's fractured, but whole.
Yeah.
And then it makes it sound something else.
Yeah.
They get pretty political on that as well. But I like these sort of cartoons.
Same. I really like. We live in a society where everything's like politically incorrect. So to see something that really, they push it, it's good.
I found out the other day, like, because my old man was always like, oh, why do you watch cartoons? It's for little kids, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day,
my kid be watching Rick and Morty.
It's another one of those places where you escape into, and
it's a good way to put it. Like, it's why I like comics and stuff.
And that's always cool. Everyone knows Batman. Everyone loves Batman.
Who's Batman?
Hey?
Let's bridge into it. We will segue into the last question. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Isn't it? It's good. Everyone thinks about this so much.
A really
you
good
smashed
question.
every question. I came to the most important question on this list.
And I've blanked.
And you're blank.
So I'm going to get a bit deep here as well, but we all question our own morality, and we're all scared of it to a degree. So a part of me wants to be immortal, but there's always that.
No.
There's always that thing that
Immortal?
you will get sick of it.
What are you, like,
eventually.
omnipotent?
Yeah.
You can't. You just...
So I guess flying is a stock standard
That's all right.
answer.
But like, you're gonna be strong and fly? Are you gonna be like just flying?
I have dreams all the time where I'm just literally floating around the room, and it's uncontrollable floating, which is a bit weird. Bit of seasickness there.
That's
in
whack.
my
What
dreams.
supplements have you been having? You talking about workout supplements now?
Oh, the good stuff, mate.
Yeah.
So
Flying, I like
that's actually a really good question. I
Everyone
guess
stumps.
that's going to stump everyone.
Everyone's, the mine is always to be filthy rich, like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Why not? He can do everything.
But
And just train by like a league of assassins.
But it's funny because
And then you can just do everything. He wins everything.
I was setting some goals the other day, and I was watching.
Look at it.
Right?
100%. Look at it. I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah, we'll kill it.
We are.
Do you want to kill it now or no?
I'm actually really scared.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Killed the spider. So we finished with you were flying. Is that it? Superpower?
Well, it's funny because going back to the whole immortality thing, like I'm not one for setting goals, and that's part of my life that I'm still trying to work on is motivation and organization. But so basically, I was watching a goal setting video, and the guy was saying, "What if you had everything in the world? You've done everything you wanted to have. You can have just at the drop of a hat. Eventually, you would get bored. So."
Maybe I don't want to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, so the
he
whole rich thing, it will get boring eventually, and there's that deep-seated.
That's why.
Would it be an instinct?
That's why Batman keeps his villains around.
Yes.
Why he keeps the Joker around? He's bored as batshit.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
But at the end of it, so that's just to reiterate on superpower, just to be rich and people wanting to be rich, it wouldn't give you a sense of purpose after that. So once you can have everything you possibly want, you would get bored, and that goes into the whole, you want to be immortal because you don't want to die, but then you'd get sick of that.
But see, I disagree, because part of the reason I didn't choose an actual superpower is because, for a start, like Batman wins everything. But
yeah.
But it mostly is because like I don't want to feel omnipotent and
yeah,
and invincible. Like money aside, but money can buy me equipment.
To feel that.
To be the man.
Yeah.
And like that's really where that comes from. And Batman, Daredevil, the Punisher, all these very grounded heroes. Not sure if Batman's not very grounded anymore, but like all these very grounded heroes are the ones that I think are the best. Is a very subjective term to use, but they're the best for me. You know what I mean?
I get ya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the superpower one, I'll probably be thinking about that for the rest of the week.
Message me when you come up with
add it into the podcast.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's pretty much it. So for those people that are looking into supplements, you can come find me at Nutrition Warehouse, Frankston.
Support your local
supplement.
Yeah. Like, look, you can. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but
at the end of the day, look, I don't get a commission, so it doesn't faze me
Yeah,
whether you come in
but-
or not. But the whole point of this job is to help people.
we want you to be safe.
Yeah.
We don't want you getting some shit from wherever,
Yeah.
and then you can't play your sport because it was something that it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but so I guess the more I can help people, the more it makes my job worth working.
100%.
Because if not, then I'm just sitting in an empty store thinking about all this.
Watching
stupid
Rick and
stuff.
Morty.
Yeah, well, I wish. But very, very soon I will be launching the Myotherapy business and working with Michael anyway, so you'll probably be seeing
There
more
you
of
go.
my face. Yeah.
Wicked. All right.
No
With
worries.
that, end it. Thank you very much, Joel.
Cheers.
Excellent.